Well, the name of the book is Champions of Children, Volume 2, and this covers from 1972 to present day. And this is the second 50 years of the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton, or known as Bradenton Kiwanis Club. And this will continue that journey of the Bradenton Kiwanis Club through the second 50 years on why we're celebrating the 100th year of being an established club in Manatee County. Well, you know, the Bradenton Kiwanis is composed of people, members, and those members continue to do the great things in Manatee County. And, you know, from the time that they started in 1922, they consistently tried to do better every year. And in 1972, as you recall, we were still a smaller type community, and the Bradenton Kiwanis Club was continuing to support all those youth activities, as well as getting involved in a lot of community type projects. So, you know, it was important for me to continue writing about those good things that happened because, you know, throughout the club they have evolved through their work that they've done and expanded out to do each year a little bit better. And, you know, the second 50 years was important because they took on some large projects that happened during that time. And, you know, the world was changing also. So in the book, I talk about this men's only club evolving into a club now that's going to be co-ed with women and become more diverse. And it was such a great effort for this club to not only continue its work and efforts that it's working on, but also to continue improving day by day on things for children. And we have with us a special visitor, Zeppelin, that has joined us, my grandson. Yeah, and he's not ready to sit down yet.
Well, he realized that there's people here he doesn't know.
Right, so he's probably going to be close, stay with family. But here's the reason right here for the Bradenton Kiwanis Club. Okay. You know, unlike the first volume, most of Volume 2 involves people that are still alive or their families, and so I was able to interview every president and a lot of people in the club that helped me put this together. So not only was I able to interview family members or the members themselves, but I was also able to go to the library and spend a lot of time there going through newspapers, getting records that in fact were more current than the first one. It wasn't that it wasn't any easier than the first volume, but it was a little challenging because, you know, it was more current things to be looking at and try to put things together. You know, when people read the book, they're going to understand that the club made leaps and bounds to things they did in the community. They're unheard of that a service club would take on some projects that they did, but they were able to do it because of what happened the first 50 years with a number of things, including the Bradenton Trailer Park. You know, for years, the Bradenton Auditorium, listed downtown Bradenton, or as you recall in the first volume, Neal Auditorium at the Bradenton Trailer Park, were two of the facilities in the county that hosted graduations, large gatherings, a lot of events, and as the schools grew in students, and as clubs grew, and as more community organizations grew, a larger facility was needed. But not only was a larger facility needed for those purposes, but also, there was an interest in attracting to this area some events for the residents of Manatee County. So one of the things that happened is in the late 70s, when the Manatee County and its leaders were not able to motivate and make the efforts to build a civic center, Bradenton and Kiwanis pledged $500,000 in the late 70s and in the 1970s to Manatee County that will be the seed money for a civic center. Now, it didn't happen overnight, and it took several years, but Kiwanis making that huge pledge really encouraged and got everybody on board, and they worked towards finally having a civic center in the early 1980s. Well, even though times changed, the mission of Bradenton and Kiwanis didn't change. And it was the same mission that Kiwanis International has, and that is to improve the world for children and to build a community one child at a time. That the mission never changed. They never got their eye off the ball. They kept their focus on doing those projects and raising money and funding organizations that were going to provide programs for children. Well, it makes me feel good that that people would come out for this. It's a celebration, continuing celebration of the 100th year anniversary of Bradenton and Kiwanis. I hope that when people do read the book, that they will understand, what the important things that Bradenton and Kiwanis has done and how it really should be celebrated.
Well, he has documented the 100-year history of Kiwanis and what it's done and how it's helped Manatee County through the years. And my personal involvement is just shy of half of that history. So I'm very interested in the book and what Gilbert has done, and obviously very involved in Kiwanis. Well, it's really important because otherwise it's lost in history and nobody understands that it was our $500,000 donation that got the Civic Center off the ground, or it was our input that started the Bradenton Boys Club, now Boys and Girls, or what happened to Camp Fly an Eagle, or all those things that went on through all the years long before I joined the club. It's all been word of mouth, and quite frankly, with what's happening to the media industry today, if 100 years from now, if somebody like Gilbert tried to put this book together, they probably couldn't do it because they wouldn't have anything in the archives. He's put a huge amount of time and effort into this. I couldn't count the number of hours he put into researching and documenting and putting this whole thing together, and I know it's been a labor of love for him. Communities thrive because people care and they give back. And it's important to understand how people did it in the past so we can model that and do it even better in the future.
It's an important occasion because it commemorates the continued efforts of the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton of what we've done for the last 50 years. The first one was the first 50 years, but for the next generation of what we've been able to do, it commemorates to make sure we understand where we are and where we're going. It's important that the community knows that from the Civic Center to the fairgrounds to the Boys and Girls Club to the new playground we're having the groundbreaking next week, is that the Kiwanis is built into the fabric of what Manatee County and Bradenton believes. And that the men and women that have represented this club for the last 102 years will continue to be that fabric that will continue to bind us together and provide amazing kind of funding and amazing programs for the children of Manatee County to continue to thrive. Well, I think Gilbert's book says it best. We're a champion for children. And what we do every day and every meeting is that how do we better the lives of every child in Manatee County? So we're always looking for projects. We want to raise awareness about who we are and what we do, so that if you have a problem in Manatee County that concerns children, we want to know about it. We want to raise awareness around it. We want to fundraise around it. So any way that we can help you make your children's life a little bit better, that's what Bradenton Kiwanis is here to do. It was important for Kiwanis to be involved because we looked around the county and there wasn't a facility that served that handicapped population for an accessible playground. And that's something that we, as someone who has members of their family and also some people that work for me that have members that have Down syndrome, it was important that my term as president, following Gilbert Unruh, that was really the spearhead for it, that we were able to put this together and put it together. That we will continue to be a light to bring goodness to Manatee County, that we will continue to look for ways we can help children, and that we will continue on for the next 100 years.
Well, Gil, he told me to be here twice, and he's a judge. So when a judge tells you twice, you better show up, because you never know. So, no, it's a thrill to be here, and Gilbert's done a wonderful work, and the history in the books is just fascinating. I moved to Bradenton in '51, so I know many of the names in the book that, as a youth, because my dad would talk about them and stuff, so it's going to be great fun to go through it. So, absolutely, and I will also say that what you do is an important asset for what Manatee, because you're going to go back decades hence and say, wow, that guy did some great work for us. You're the guy everywhere you go. So to have you here with Gilbert that's not just great. It's a wonderful thing. I'm glad Gilbert did it. The labor of love. I don't think he's going to retire to the north end of Anna Maria. Nobody can retire there anymore. You can't afford it. But anyway, anyway, so it's great. We're happy. Well, I said this when I became president of Kiwanis, and the thing is, if you have a certain personal skill or talent or work, the base of the Bradenton Kiwanis Club and its resources can allow you to leverage your own skill up much, much, much further than you could on your own. And I'm a perfect example of that, with the Kiwanis Foundation and all those. I could have never done that without, even though I may have wanted to do it, without what Kiwanis is and has been and will be for Bradenton and Manatee County. So Kiwanis can do these things in the community that red tape, bureaucratic ease, whatever. I mean, they've got the resources, they can do it, and they bring the manpower with the support of the county and city government to make that. But they can sort of have a focus on one thing and get it done, just like the convention center. It took a lot of help from other people, but that was the seed money. First $500,000 came from Kiwanis. So another one, it's something like that. Well, I think it's in the book. I mean, it's just, you can't, each part of the book has got something that happened, but people just built and built and built on top of what others had done before. That $500,000 for the convention center came from the work and the trailer park stewardship from decades. So, and I think today the Kiwanis Foundation is $14 or $15 million, and that will pay unending dividends to the county and the city going forward. So it's a wonderful thing.
it's always kind of been amazing to watch how hard Gilbert worked, but when you start talking about putting together two or three books, I mean, this is amazing. And as I've looked at some of his books already, the obvious amount of research and effort that he puts into these it's always astonishing. I mean, Gilbert's a great guy anyway, but he works really, really hard. It's not like he doesn't have anything to do. He's a circuit judge, for heaven's sake. But he's a workman and really does a great job with his product. It's always done well. I've been proud to be in some of the books. That's a real compliment. But Gilbert's always been a favorite of mine. I loved his dad, and I think he got all the good traits of his dad and all the nice traits of his mother. So, well, if you don't do it, it goes away, and it gets forgotten and never to be regained again. You know, we've had a number of things that over the years you go back and try to find out some information about somebody or what happened here or when, and it's very difficult. And Gilbert doing this at a time when it's still relatively fresh in some of our minds and in his is a great opportunity to put that down where we can all find it and enjoy it. And that really is, I mean, this is a piece of the history of Manatee County, and it's nice that he's doing this with Kiwanis. His history books have been great, and so I'm just proud to have been able to be a friend of his and to work with him in the same profession. Well, absolutely. I mean, it is documented, and that's a great thing to get put down. But one of the things that I've noticed over the years, because I've been past president of this club and some other things, and you see you really get involved in some parts of the community, and I'm always astonished at the great things that members of the bar, for one thing, but members of Kiwanis have done. This Kiwanis Club has been part of the lifeblood of this community, and people, and lots of people know, but a lot of people don't know how much Kiwanis has meant to the community and how much it's participated in the growth and history of the community. You go back and look, and there's almost no part of the county that Kiwanis hasn't touched at one time or another. And it's an honor to have been a member of this Kiwanis Club, and Gilbert memorializing it is a real compliment as well.